President-elect Trump is vowing to impose 100% tariffs on BRICS nations unless they commit to not developing a new currency.
U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has warned BRICS member countries over attempts to undercut the U.S. dollar.
U.S. President Donald Trump has warned of BRICS member countries from replacing the U.S. dollar as a reserve currency.
And yet, are they a BRICS nation?
Trade competition, tariffs, and mutual restriction measures are now the most discussed concerns in the United States, Europe, Asia, and throughout the world. The United States is at the forefront of this concern. U.S. President Donald Trump is fighting an economic war with countries like Russia and China. Trump's attention on Russia and China has eclipsed the recent suspension of tariffs imposed by the U.S. on Canada and Mexico, which will be resumed in March. So, why is Donald Trump concentrating on Russia and China? The source of the problem is inside BRICS, which comprises Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and Russia again. The BRICS countries have been actively seeking to lessen their reliance on the U.S. currency in trade and finance. At the 15th BRICS conference, Russian President Vladimir Putin emphasized the necessity of de-dollarization, stating that the group's nations should grow their settlements in national currencies and strengthen bank cooperation. Most recently, the proposal of a unified currency produced by the BRICS countries gained news in late 2024, just before their gathering in Kazan, Russia. Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva has also indicated support for the creation of a new currency to facilitate commerce among the BRICS countries. However, leaders in South Africa, India, and most notably China have remained mute on the matter. The BRICS countries are not a homogeneous set of nations with the same aims and ambitions. They are a diversified group with important rivalries, such as those between India and China. As a result, the BRICS' first step was not to launch a unified currency proposal. It was also unclear whether the objective was to replace local currencies or to develop something that could function in tandem. The lack of clarity on this crucial subject was interpreted as an indicator that conversations were in the early stages. However, Russia's report to the BRICS conference in Kazan recommended a shared platform for cross-border payments based on digital currencies issued by central banks. This idea prompted the United States to concentrate more on the issue. Putin's proposal would eliminate the need to utilize the dollar, the U.S. financial system, and SWIFT, an interbank payment service. In contrast, U.S. President Donald Trump began to express strong opposition to the new currency proposed by the BRICS, led by Russia. In reality, Donald Trump has threatened BRICS members to the point that Russia and China will most likely be unable to remain mute following this dramatic warning. We'll now examine Donald Trump's previous warnings about the BRICS, as well as his most recent strong reaction to the group. But first, please subscribe to our channel, enable alerts, and like us to remain up to date on our material. Let's get started. Donald Trump has often warned the BRICS countries against attempting to replace the U.S. dollar as the global reserve currency. The U.S. president has also warned that if the BRICS choose an alternative, the group's member nations will face major trade restrictions and taxes. President Trump has cautioned the BRICS members as late as mid-February. At the time, Donald Trump stated that if the BRICS played dollar games, he would levy a 100% tax on its members. Trump has even indicated that he will cut off trade ties with any country that attempts to manipulate the currency. This posture was similar to Trump's prior comments in December, when he warned punitive taxes if the BRICS continued to work to minimize their reliance on the U.S. dollar. With such views and pronouncements, Trump made it plain that he opposed any move away from the U.S. currency. However, it appears that all of these warnings and harsh measures on the BRICS were inadequate for Donald Trump. For the final time, Trump responded harshly to this group.
And if the BRICS nations want to do that, that's okay, but we're going to put at least a 100% tariff on the business they do with the United States. You know what the BRICS is, right?
U.S. President Donald Trump stated that the BRICS, which includes India, was collapsing after threatening to impose a 150% tax in response to their efforts to weaken the U.S. dollar. Donald Trump indicated that he did not know what happened to the BRICS members following the tax announcement and that the group most likely dissolved. Trump reiterated his stance, claiming that he has heard nothing about BRICS since issuing the tariff warning. In other words, the U.S. president said that BRICS had disappeared off the global agenda following this surprising tariff decision. Economic analysts believe that even if BRICS countries adopt a united currency, they will be unable to compete with the dollar. According to research conducted last year by the Atlantic Council Center for Geoeconomics, the U.S. dollar remains the world's principal reserve currency, and neither the euro nor the BRICS countries' positions have reduced global dependency on the dollar. Trump is focused on preserving this image. In addition to the shared currency problem, the U.S. president's focus on BRICS is prompted by Russia and China's dangerous behavior. The BRICS group is the only major international organization in which the United States does not take part. Russia, in particular, is seen to be using BRICS to further its policies toward the Ukraine conflict and European Union concerns. Similarly, the BRICS are seen to be driving China's rising danger in the Indo-Pacific and Europe. So, how did BRICS, which includes these two deadly members, come to be? The abbreviation BRICS, which originally omitted South Africa, was established in 2001 by Goldman Sachs head economist Jim O'Neill in a research study outlining the economic potential of Brazil, Russia, India, and China. The bloc was founded as an informal group in 2009 to provide its members a forum to contest a world order controlled by the United States and its Western allies. South Africa was the first to gain from the bloc's growth in 2010 when it was rebranded as BRICS. Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the United Arab Emirates joined the group in 2023, as did Indonesia. With all of these nations entering the club, the BRICS economic network has a very strong spiral structure. After BRICS has attracted so many actors over time, the United States has ramped up its efforts and started actions aimed at the organization. The goal was to demonstrate that BRICS was incapable of damaging the United States. Following the announcement of the BRICS expansion in 2023, former U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton spoke before the media to address concerns about the bloc's danger to Western interests. Bolton described BRICS as a diverse but incompatible group of countries, implying that BRICS is a heterogeneous entity whose members do not naturally come together and whose expansion poses no significant threat. Reinhard Bütikofer, a European Union diplomat from Germany, expressed a different viewpoint, claiming that the recent expansion of BRICS threatens Western dominance. According to Bütikofer, the BRICS are becoming more combative against the West, and many developing nations may turn to the group if Europe fails to demonstrate its reliability and reputation as a fair partner. These various opinions on the consequences of BRICS growth provided an exciting issue to investigate, highlighting the complex dynamics of members' strategic interests and power within the bloc. China was most distracted by U.S. President Donald Trump's application of a 150% tariff to investigate the internal structure of the BRICS and further isolate the grouping from one another. As BRICS' largest economy, China influences the bloc's agenda and goals. In this setting, it is even more vital to investigate China's strategic goals inside the BRICS. China's changing position, particularly in terms of economic and geopolitical ambitions and difficulties, highlighted the need to consider BRICS within the larger framework of its attempts to address global concerns. This was likely Donald Trump's mindset as well. After assuming office, Trump's primary goal was to defeat China in the global economic struggle. As a result, the President of the United States attempted to impose tariffs on the BRICS countries, including China. The impact and reaction of Trump's approach toward China should not be overlooked. Comprehending China's strategic goals and influence inside the BRICS is crucial to comprehending its ambitions in the context of shifting global economic and political dynamics. China, the bloc's largest economy, has undertaken steps to enhance collaboration with other developing countries and promote the BRICS' collective interests in the world arena. Beyond lobbying for wider membership, China has used BRICS to fight Western dominance, recognizing the importance of increased involvement in global governance. Other nations, including Brazil, Russia, and South Africa, but not India, that initially disagreed with the BRICS growth plan, have expressed an interest in extending cooperation with other rising economies. China's aggressive backing for the current BRICS expansion reflects its strategic interests and influence inside the bloc. This expansion provides China a significant edge in harnessing the bloc's strengths while managing the intricacies of a multipolar world. China's BRICS strategy is to utilize the alliance to boost its global influence through programs like the Belt and Road Initiative. However, other members have different priorities. Russia, for example, is presently dealing with Western sanctions and views the BRICS as a method to mitigate them by broadening its economic partnerships. It has less economic leverage than China. Brazil and South Africa prioritize regional development and frequently seek to leverage BRICS to attain greater global influence. However, their global ambitions appear to be more locally oriented and less ambitious than China's. Aside from its support for enlargement, China's influence may be observed in its substantial contributions to critical programs like the Contingent Reserve Arrangement. China's rising interest and influence in BRICS is a two-edged sword. On the one hand, China's rising dominance may raise tensions with other members, particularly India, which is concerned about the Beijing regime's growing influence. India's fears are reasonable, considering the two nations' complicated histories and opposing interests in the area. Power disputes between China and India, as well as economic slowdown and political instability among bloc members, may all have a substantial impact on their capacity to traverse complicated geopolitical terrain. Long-standing border conflicts and territory disputes, such as the Doklam Impasse and recent confrontations in the Galwan Valley, have strained Sino-Indian ties. These events have created a pervasive environment of mistrust between these two important bloc members. China and India have long-standing resentments and territorial conflicts, which impede efforts to build trust and strengthen bilateral ties. Both nations see their border regions as strategically vital and attempt to impose their dominance, resulting in struggle for control and influence. The continuing geopolitical tensions between China and India may worsen further, owing to serious political disagreements among new actors such as Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Iran. While China has strong links with Iran, India has good contacts with Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. Any movement in these partnerships might exacerbate tensions. For example, India has been wary of the Belt and Road effort, viewing it as both an economic effort and a means of increasing China's geopolitical power. India is especially sensitive to initiatives involving neighboring nations, like Pakistan, which has a significant role in this program. This might exacerbate existing tensions between India and China, as India may regard the BRI's expanding economic impact as an opportunity to eclipse China's standing on the world arena. As we have shown, while BRICS is making amazing progress toward launching a unified currency, there are significant issues that might arise inside the organization. United States President Donald Trump's planned 150% tariffs on BRICS might exacerbate the group's issues. As a result, Trump's tariff threats are expected to stymie efforts to develop a new single currency within the BRICS. This is because China and Russia are two countries that do not want to be the focus of the United States. The reason for this is China's ambition to become a global economic powerhouse. Russia, on the other hand, does not want to face the United States, especially as it seeks to gain an edge in the Ukraine conflict. In sum, Donald Trump can change Russia and China's policy by threatening BRICS with 150% tariffs. This will become clearer with time. Thank you for selecting us.